Hey guys, it's Philly Pre back again with another K-drama review. Trying to knock out a couple today, so I'm rocking the same look again, you know. But anyway, just being silly. Today I'm gonna review Beautiful World. Now this drama aired earlier in the year, but I didn't watch it. I mean, I know a lot of people were into it. They were watching it at the time while I was airing. I was really wrapped up in like probably 5 or 6 other dramas at the time, so it was like on my list, on my radar to watch, but I didn't watch it. But I wanted to watch it before year end, and now of course it's finished. It was fully uploaded, so I didn't do a full binge while I was watching it, but kind of a binge, like so many episodes of each time, and got through it. Actually sucked my mom into watching this one. She kind of like was passing through a couple times, like, ooh. So, you know, I don't think she watched the entire thing with me, but definitely enough to, you know, be like, this is kind of good. So that was nice and fun, since she's the one who originally got me into dramas anyway. So, all right, let's just jump right into it. So Beautiful World was, at first, when I said I wanted to watch it, I was like, oh, well, is it like a high schoolie? Because I knew it had something to do with like high school kids and or middle school, whatever grade they were in. And I was like, but it was so much more than that. It definitely was centered around like a school environment. But you know, the opening scene was pretty intense. You know, this boy is basically falling almost to his death from the roof of the school. And it's like, you know, is it suicide? Is it murder? Like, what is it? So it's perceived to be a suicide, but he was like a happy-go-lucky kid. So it's like, why? His parents were like, there's no way. Excuse me, his parents were like, there's no way that like he was committing suicide. But there were some like shady things surrounding it. Like, I'm pretty sure there was somebody else on that roof when it panned up after he hit the ground. There were people on the scene who saw or showed up like right as it was happening or as he hit the ground or whatever. But those people weren't initially reported as to being on the scene as things are unfolding, you know, like the school security guard or whatever he was, groundsman. He looked like he did a lot. I don't know. You know, he was the one who reported it, but it just, things were a lot real sketchy. The police were like investigating. The school, of course, was like, we can't have this, and our parents are in an uproar, and we have to keep this hush, hush, hush. And this one, so there was like other kids involved, you know, because that comes out later. Like, there's like these 3 other boys, but one's like a ringleader. This one boy, his mom, he like left his phone in his room, and his mom saw something very disturbing on his phone, and she like questioned him about it. And while she's questioning him about it, you know, he's like, it's nothing, we're just doing games. And, you know, I'm like, no, that looks like bullying, but okay. So the guy who hits the ground, you know, he has some really good parents. He has a sister. He has an aunt. His mom like runs a bakery. His dad is actually a teacher, like at a totally different school. But it just shows you how you know your kids, but sometimes you really don't know what's going on in your kids' lives. So I think that's what I want to focus on as far as like what was happening in this drama, because this drama was very heart-wrenching. It was very sad, but it was also very angering. You know, I was very like upset watching some of these scenes. So I will put a disclaimer out there that if you haven't watched this drama and you decide to watch it, it definitely is some sensitive matter. So it could be some triggers for people. So I think you should be very careful. You know, if you can't handle bullying, if you can't handle things where it may be involving, you know, somebody maybe being raped, because these are topics that come up in this drama. And it goes far beyond just being a school drama. It was so much more than that. But what I loved about it was that his parents and his sister, they were fighters. They weren't the rich family, but they were comfortable. And they were like, the cops, you're not doing your job. You keep pushing us off. You're not really investigating this. They were very adamant, like, listen, if you're not going to do it, we're going to investigate. They started figuring things out and learning stuff. And they would take this stuff back to the cops. And this one cop was just rude. And he was like, oh, we're doing our job. Oh, we did that. Oh, just forget it. Da, da, da. Finally, they found something that I felt like was like critical, some type of like critical evidence that they showed him. And you saw him kind of change a little bit, this cop. And he seemed like he was more willing to help them. Or like, you know what, now it piqued his, like, maybe I should have looked more. He eventually became instrumental in like helping, but not, the bottom line is the family as a whole, the sister, the mom, the dad, they were their own detectives. And that's what I'm talking about. When you know your child, you got to do what you got to do. But even then, there were still some things they really just didn't know about their son's life and what he was dealing with or what he was going through. And I was able, as a parent, I mean, my kids are grown now, but I was able to see that it's so easy to, as a parent, you're busy, you're working, you're this, you're that, you're distracted, you know, you're responsible for so many people and so many things, and you're on your own overload, that you miss sometimes the cues and the signs when your kids need help or they really need you to listen, and you're like, and you kind of brush them off for a second. I'll be right with you, but getting back to it, sometimes it doesn't happen, and you miss that opportunity to hear what was wrong with them, to hear what they're going through, what they're dealing with, and they may not come back. They may be like, mom and dad don't care. And I felt, you know, and I really felt bad for his parents because they kind of felt some of that, and some of it was kind of true. But it's hard. Being a parent isn't easy. So it just was a lot. But you had this rich family and, you know, this Stepford wife like woman who didn't have a life outside of staying home and being neat and cute and clean and, you know, driving her son to the Hanwha, whatever it is, the little after school, not after school, but where they go study after they leave regular school. I always say it wrong. Y'all know I want to learn Korean, but girl, the struggle is real. But anyway, so it just was hard. And his parents, you know, his dad, the rich kid, like his dad was cocky, which made him cocky. And his dad led him to believe that he could do no wrong. And even when he did wrong, it's okay because I'll clean it up for you. But the mom, even though she was a part of that and she was like kind of accepting, like kind of being like her husband, like, oh, let's just smooth everything, let's cover over everything. She had somewhat of a heart somewhere in there. And you could tell after a while certain things were just eating away at her. There is this scene and some very sensitive things that happened with one of the girls in the school that I did not see coming. Like that whole scenario of what went down with her. I mean, it had said she left school. I thought it was all a part of the bullying, but it was way bigger than that. That's one of the things that I really won't get into because if you watch the drama, I feel like I don't want to ruin that for you. But it was bad. It was bad. And it just showed what a monster the rich father was. He was a monster. In the end, you know, the boy, he didn't die, if I didn't say that, but like, you know, he was in a coma and stuff like that. But it just shows you, I feel like this drama, which it was tackling some real issues. What's going on in schools, how things are being covered up, how, you know, parents, as hard as it is, and we do have a lot on us, we need to pay a little more attention to maybe signs when our kids are not saying, and see what's really going on in these schools and what they're really coping with, what they're not telling you. Because sometimes it's just stuff they're just not saying. And, you know, they're not adults and they're not fully developed and they're trying to handle all this by themselves and they really need us. And I feel like that's the lesson that this family learned. And, you know, the dad ended up deciding he would like take a leave from school and, you know, just be more present. And I get everybody can't take a leave. You know, it takes money to raise a family, but it just really showed this family, that they needed to be more mindful, notice things that were going on with their kids. And it's crazy out here. So I do commend the writers for tackling some really serious issues, and, keeping it real, because the drama was really, really real. I'm a real stickler for endings. I think the way it ended well. I think the writers tied up everything neatly and nice, and it was realistic. Because sometimes it's like, oh, it's an unrealistic ending. This really wasn't an unrealistic ending. I thought it was very realistic. I thought it was very well done. I think the actors and the writers did a really, really excellent job with this drama. And it can be a beautiful world. You know, it can be, but we all have to do right in order for this to be a beautiful world, you know? So I thought that was a good thing to take away from the title of this drama. You know, it can be a beautiful world, but we can't cover over things that are wrong. We have to take action. We have to speak on them. And I'm giving this drama 5 stars. I thought about giving it 4, but I'm giving it 5 because the writers really tackled some sensitive issues, and I thought they did it well. And it just was really well done, considering all the sensitive matter that was discussed. So this is Philly Pre with a drama review for Beautiful World. I'm giving it 5 stars, and I'm saying like, subscribe, and comment, and I'm signing off until I get ready to record another video. Maybe. Ooh, what will it be? All right, bye guys.